Hello everybody, my name's Kimberly and this is Off-Road Reactions. Today I'm reacting to a video by Overland Touring Australia. I'll put the link in the description below. And this is called Canning Stock Route 2018, Episode 3, Wiluna to Durba Spring. The other two episodes were clearly before they arrived in Wiluna, which is where the Canning Stock Route starts these days. And Durba Spring is at a lovely spot partway along, and that's the rocks that you can see in this image here. Now, before we take a look, I mentioned for our sponsors, Olsen's Tours and Training, who are running a Canning Stock Route tour in 2023, July 26, 2023, leaves Earl Dunda, south of Alice Springs, goes along the Gun Barrel Highway and up the Canning Stock Route, down the Tenamai and finishes in Tilmouth Well. So do check that out from Olsen's Tours and Training.
Today we leave Wiluna and head for the start of the Canning Stock Route.
We've arrived at Well 1, which is abandoned and ruined. You can see some of the old troughs, fencing, old windmill. Start of our journey. Well number 1 at the Canning Stock Route.
50 to go.
So we've arrived at North Pool after Well 1, which was abandoned, and we will continue on to the start of the Canning from here.
So this is North Pool, about 10 k's off the main road north of Wiluna, and it's a pretty popular little camp spot. We leave the main road out of Wiluna about 31 k's north, turn east onto the main part of the Canning Stock Route.
So just explain for those who haven't done it or haven't had a look at any of the maps, there's quite a good road up to this point here, and then you veer off and go on to Well 2, etc. And from here on, it's pretty much just two-wheel tracks.
Well 2 is only about 2.5 k's in from the main road and really starts the Canning for us. As far as we're aware, there's only been 2 other cars through the southern part of the Canning this season. One we met at Gun Barrel Lager, and the other we can see a set of tracks on the track ahead.
Is the stony section.
Like many of the wells in the Canning, this one's fallen into disrepair. There is some water in there, but it doesn't look that inviting.
Here's our camp for the night at Well 2A, the Granites.
Yeah, so this is about where I broke a front spring one year and had to go back out to Wiluna. Wasn't anything that we impacted or hit that made it broke the spring. It was a coil spring. When I inspected it, it was actually had a pinhole right through it. So it was a relatively new spring, so it was clearly a metallurgical issue. And I think I should explain how I drove out with a broken left coil spring on the front of the Nissan Patrol. If you ever have that happen to you, your coil springs are, are wound like this. Just spin the coil so that they overlap a considerable amount, and put 3 stainless steel hose clamps over the overlapped coil. Good enough to get us back to Wiluna, where Barney had a set of springs waiting for us because I had HF radio and I could telephone back to him via Radtel. And Barney's a mate of mine, so I asked if he would mind getting me a set of springs up from Perth, which took a couple of days, but we were on the track again in no time.
Wombat's making the big white man fire.
Got to say, it's been really hot this trip, with temperatures regularly in the high 30s and early 40s during the day. Pretty warm at night too.
It really shows you all the rocky bits here. But
It's a bit early in the year for it to be killed.
get an idea. There's a little bit of concentration to keep your tyres nice. We're just coming up to 3. Hard to see, but red mulga, which only grows in a narrow band.
Yep.
Interesting.
There's your mini Richie.
Red mulga.
Lower fill rate than these last two wells. They were about 600 gallons. This one's only 130 of recharge per hour. Maybe the flies are around.
Now, I should point out, anyone who's watched this channel before would know that I've mentioned this previously, that windlass kind of setup there is obviously, very obviously, a later addition to a modern version of the well. The big pole you can see there, that's on an angle, would have been the original way to lift the water. It would have a pulley at the top over which a rope ran, and there would be a canvas bucket at the bottom, and you would attach a camel to the rope. Camel or a camel team.
Surprisingly easy action. Like you can't feel the bucket blade. Oh, yeah, you can. Look at that. Looks like well water. Alright.
Yeah.
That's not very good.
Ready? Yep.
It's really important that you close the lids on the wells again. Don't let feral animals and other things get in there.
We came across this washaway just near well 3A. It looks pretty innocuous on the screen, but just required a bit of careful wheel placement to get down one bank and up the other.
Pretty deep. Clearly an automatic. Just in this vicinity, there is a tree that was blazed by Canning.
Making our way around past the Salt Lake, heading for well 4A, correct?
Yep.
we camped here one year and we celebrated a birthday. So it was quite a bit of fun.
Come in to have a look at Winditch Springs. It's quite a big, long waterhole. Fair bit of water in it with these little turtles which we can't find. Unfortunately, there's no camping on the bank, so you're up in the open. So we'll probably keep going up to L5 and have a camp up there, which is supposed to be nice.
So we have camped at Winditch before, but you have to camp up on the plateau, as he says, and it's just hard rock. The reason we camped there was we didn't have time to make it onto 5. And you probably better off if you can making it onto 6, although it's such a popular campsite, 6, that you might end up being a little bit crowded.
A bit of water maybe. Currently home to some little turtles, dinner plate turtles they call them.
I should also say that there's something very interesting to see here, and if you go along tour on the Canning Stock Route tour with Olsen's Tours and Training, you'll find out what it is.
We camped the night at well 5, which has been restored by the Chamberlain Tractor Group. We camped in amongst the trees, and the water was good enough to wash up with.
Lovely gum trees at Pierre Springs, between wells 5 and 6, with a very nicely restored well.
Okay, you can see a modern version, or a duplicate, if you like, a copy of what would have been originally made of wood. And that's what we call the whipping pole. As I said before, the bucket would be at the bottom, it would be canvas, and a camel or camel team would pull it. I guess you could also pull it with horses if you wanted to. But it's a 200-litre bucket, it's pretty heavy.
Pierre Springs would be a great campsite, but since it was
It is a
early
great
morning,
campsite.
we didn't camp there, we continued on during the day. However, the water quality was really good, so we topped up our water tanks and did a bit of clothes washing and had a shower.
Pretty good. Water's actually fresh and clean.
We hit the sand dunes.
Wells 7, 8, 9 and 10 were all pretty run down and certainly not yielding any water.
I'm not going to do this whole video, so I'm just going to skip forward a bit and get to some other places. If you want to watch the whole thing, the link will be in the description. So I've skipped past a couple of bits that I know are there that I'm going to save for those who go on tour and not spoil it. Let's see where they're up to now. Around 12 or somewhere, maybe. And from memory, 12 is up the top here somewhere. Lake Aerodrome. Okay, so that's where they are. So some of the sand dunes around the Lake Aerodrome area can be quite interesting to get up because it really tight turns at the bottom, and they're very loose, but they're not very high. But so they give you a good practice at getting things right. A lot of water in Lake Aerodrome. I've never seen water in it ever.
Just on a dune, looking out over Lake Aerodrome. Salt Lake.
So there's 12 there. Nice. Nice little lunch stop. That must be at 14. Starting to get into the ranges.
A really nice camp spot at well 15 with good water quality, so we topped up our tanks again and had a hot shower.
All right, I'm not going to tell you the story. You'll have to come on tour with me. I'm not going to tell you the full story, but see if we can catch it.
A really nice camp spot at well 15 with good water quality, so we topped up our tanks again and had a hot shower.
How would you like to walk the canning stock route with all your possessions on that little trolley? You can learn about that if you go on tour. So once again, go check out our sponsors, Olsen's Tours and Training. Thorny Devil, now if you put your hand up and throw a shadow over him, he'll stop. And then you can pick him up.
I love that way they rock. It's like that.
Well, 16.
Lots of bird life at this well, as you might be able to hear in the background sounds.
Very green around that well as well. Back into more sand dunes.
Need to be that bumpy. People spinning wheels.
And you hear his comment there. It doesn't need to be that bumpy. People have been spinning their wheels. Those of you who watch my videos will know what I would be likely to say at this point in time. If you, I'm not going to say it. If you want to know, go back and watch some previous videos.
Durba Spring is our camp for the next 2 nights, and we're lucky enough to have it all to ourselves.
Oh, wow. Having Durba Spring all to yourself, that would be amazing. So I've camped here numerous times, obviously, and I think the last time, I think it was the last time we stayed 3 nights, and it was beautiful. I had my guitar on that trip. I don't carry my guitar anymore because I don't have room to put it in the vehicle. I had a bigger vehicle in those days earlier, and I would sit over next to the stream and play, finger picking songs, and they'd bounce off the rocks, and would often get quite a bit of applause from nearby campers. It was a lot of fun. and it's just a beautiful place to relax. And again, if you go along on tour with Olsen's, you will get to see a lot of things here that people don't know exist. There's quite some interesting things around here, and it's well worth spending a few days.
We had a great bit of R&R here, looked after the vehicles and our gear, cooked up some cake, damper and roast. Generally had
And that is exactly the camp spot we were in last time we were there.
a great time. See more on the next episode.
Yeah, great. Well, that was fabulous. And those of you coming along on the Canning Stock Route trip, you're really, really going to enjoy it. It is a difficult trip. It is a long trip. You do have to, get yourself mentally prepared as well as physically prepared, and you do have to get your vehicles prepared. But it is a life-changing experience, and it's absolutely well worth doing. All right, that's it. I'm Kimberly, and this has been Off-Road Reactions.